letting your children receive birth control without your permission, or having your child say they are having a child for themselves. Most parents think that their children aren't having unprotected sex because they have grown up learning about abstinence. Most parents are naive to the fact that just because their children aren't talking about it doesn't mean they aren't doing it. I chose to do this topic because in my family, my sister and I have grown up with different mothers, with my mother who supported me, wanting me to be on birth control, and my sister whose mother would not put her on it. The purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience on how letting teenage girls get birth control without parent permission could change the future of the young girls. Teenage girls should be allowed to receive birth control without parent consent because it's their bodies. It will prevent them from having a child at a young age, and birth control will help maintain a teenage menstrual cycle. The first thought I would like to bring up is that a girl should have control of her own body at any age. According to the Center of Reproductive Rights, there is no state or federal law passed as of now that requires permission from a parent regarding to obtain birth control. However, there are many proposals being introduced to restrict teenagers' access to birth control without parent consent or notification. There are many disadvantages to this proposal, including a young woman searching for contraception would be forced to have parent permission. Minors buying condoms would have to be turned away without consent, and a teenager needing emergency contraception because of forced intercourse would need an approval from an adult, even though in an event of emergency, the procedure must be used within 72 hours of unprotected sex. What child wants to have a child of their own? According to Contracept.org in the U.S., there are 21 states that allow minors to get contraception without parent consent. 2 states permit minors to get contraception with certain circumstances, like married minors. There are 3 states that allow minors to get contraception if a doctor determines that a minor would face health hazards. Then on the other side are 10 states that allow a minor to get contraception if they can meet special requirements, including being a high school graduate, demonstrates maturity, or has reached a certain age. According to Debate.org, parents argue that teens will have sex no matter what their parents say, so they should protect their children from unprotected sex. Most teenage girls will not go to a parent about such a private issue, and many teenagers decide not to get contraception in fear of what their parents will say, and they end up having to tell their parents that they are pregnant. In the U.S., the teenage pregnancy rate is higher here than in any other country. 750,000 teens become pregnant yearly, and many of them didn't want to be pregnant at all. Birth control isn't used just as means to prevent pregnant babies, but can also be used to control menstrual cycles. Some periods can be very heavy, and some teens get birth control to even it out. The most common reasons that women in the U.S. use contraceptive pills as their birth control method is to prevent pregnancy, but in fact, 14% of pill users rely on the pills for non-contraceptive purposes. The most common reasons for the pill is for 86% for pregnancy prevention, 31% for menstrual cramping, 28% for treatment of acne, and 4% for treatment of endometriosis. Menstrual-related disorders and irregular periods are common during ages 14 to 18. Studies show that adolescents use the pill for more regular period and less cramping. In conclusion, I wanted to persuade my audience on how letting teenage girls get birth control without parent permission could change the futures for the young girls. I have explained to you why teenage girls should be allowed to receive birth control without parent consent because of their bodies. It will prevent them from having a child at a young age, and birth control will help maintain a teenager's menstrual cycle. I felt qualified to share about this topic due to my sister getting pregnant at 19 and having her whole entire life ahead of her. And although I love my nephew to death, her life would have been different if she had been put on birth control. Birth control is an opinion, and depending on each person's situation and lifestyle, birth control might not be what's best for you. If you're interested in one of the many types of birth control offered, try talking to your doctor and see what contraception is best for you. Overall, birth control has a lot of different positive advantages. One advantage of birth control is a woman can start her period a few days earlier or a few days later. Another advantage is clear skin. Acne is caused by an imbalance in your hormones, and birth control regulates the organs of acne. Birth control also helps prevent against ovarian cysts. A regulation of menstrual cramps is a well-known fact. Birth control prevents excess hair growth of facial hair. Using contraception can give women a chance to get healthy. Studies are beginning to show that short periods between pregnancies have been associated with decreased chances of miscarriages. And one final advantage is women can have bigger boobs depending on the level of hormones in the birth control you use.